Why America dropped the atomic bombs on Japan? Today, I am going to tell you that why America dropped atom bombs on Japan on August 6, 1945, in the final and most desperate phase of World War II. The United States faced a critical decision on how to end the conflict with Japan, a nation that refused to surrender despite suffering massive losses across the Pacific. American leaders feared that a traditional invasion of Japan would lead to millions of casualties on both sides. As Japanese forces were preparing to fight until the last breath, with this fear in mind, President Harry S. Truman approved the use of a new and terrifying weapon, the atomic bomb created through the top-secret Manhattan Project. On the morning of August 6, 1945, the first atomic bomb, nicknamed Little Boy, was dropped from the B-29 bomber Enola Gay over the city of Hiroshima. Within seconds, a blinding flash lit up the sky as a massive fireball engulfed the city, flattening buildings, vaporizing thousands of people instantly and leaving a rising mushroom cloud that symbolized a new era of destruction. Nearly 70,000 to 80,000 people died instantly, while thousands more suffered from severe burns, radiation exposure, and injuries that overwhelmed the city's limited medical resources. Hiroshima, once a vibrant urban center, became a landscape of ashes and silence. Yet despite this unimaginable destruction, the Japanese leadership did not immediately surrender. Partly because they were still trying to understand what kind of weapon had been used, and partly because military leaders refused to accept defeat. As the world struggled to comprehend the scale of Hiroshima's devastation, the United States prepared a second atomic strike to pressure Japan into submission. On August 9, 1945, the B-29 bomber boxcar dropped the second bomb, Fat Man, over the city of Nagasaki. Unlike Hiroshima, Nagasaki's mountainous terrain limited the blast radius, but the destruction was still catastrophic, killing around 40,000 to 75,000 people instantly and causing massive fires that swept through the city. Families were separated, children were orphaned, and entire neighborhoods were wiped out in the blink of an eye. The combined shock of the two atomic bombings, along with the Soviet Union's sudden declaration of war against Japan on the same day, created overwhelming pressure on the Japanese government. Emperor Hirohito, breaking with tradition, intervened directly and urged his leaders to accept surrender, stating that continuing the war would only bring total destruction to the Japanese people. On August 15, 1945, Japan announced its unconditional surrender, marking the official end of World War II and bringing relief to millions around the world. But the end of the war did not mean the end of suffering for the survivors of the bombings, known as hibakusha. They faced long-term health problems, such as radiation sickness, cancers, chronic pain, and emotional trauma that lasted for the rest of their lives. Many were left homeless, grieving, and physically scarred, while their cities began the slow and painful process of rebuilding from almost nothing. The atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki also left a permanent mark on global politics, opening the door to the nuclear age and sparking decades of debate about the morality of using such weapons. Some argued that the bombs saved lives by preventing a prolonged war, while others believed the destruction of two civilian cities would forever stand as a warning to humanity about the consequences of unchecked power and war. Regardless of these debates, the impact of those two bombings in August 1945 changed the course of history, shaping international security, nuclear policies, and global consciousness for generations to come. The stories of Hiroshima and Nagasaki serve as powerful reminders of the horrors of war and the importance of striving for peace so that such devastation is never repeated.